Yeah, man, say all praises and honor unto Yahweh.
Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash.
And double honors to the apostles, you know, and the elders of Great Stone. Shalom to all our brothers out there pushing the truth in all sincerity and in all honesty. This is a brother from James Jamaica Camp. Yashamai.
Ashar.
I war. Come on, Shapwal.
I don't want to do my lesson, you know, when I'm famine, see, because now we're seeing, you know, right across, you know, the world now we're seeing things happening now, you know, we're basically a push, you know, this famine faster, right? Because even I'm out in Jamaica now, we hear them start to mention about, you know, the whole shortage, you know, of food and a hike in that food prices, because that's the way the world are moved towards right now, like famine. Right, and they all go back to the Bible prophecy, right? And over the years, you know, we've been warning our people, you know, we've been saying that we keep on saying, you know, we've been warning our people about all these things to come, right? So turn back to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai before it's too late. Right? Don't wait until it's too late, yo. Right? Now is the acceptable time, you know, to turn to the Heavenly Father before, you know, shit hit the fan. Right? You see the preparation taking place now. Right? That will lead to that.
Quick precept.
What?
Ecclesiasticus 12 verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in days of thy youth, while the evil days come not.
While the evil days come not, while the time of Jacob's trouble come not. So now is the acceptable time. Right?
Nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them.
Right. Exactly. Right?
This is an article from the Sun. Alright, it dated the 26th of August 2021. Right, the entitled it's co-op bosses, right, warns grocery shortage at worst level ever seen amid empty shelf prices. It's the bosses of co-op as warned grocery shortage have hit the worst level ever seen amid British empty shelf prices. So Steve Morrell says the retailers is struggling to get deliveries of products due to national shortage of HGV drivers. All right, he's the CEO of the cooperative group 56 told Times the shortage are at a worse level than anything I've ever seen. He blames the supply disruption on Brexit and issue caused by the...
You know, say, you know, the elites are behind this here, because they might try, you know, engineering a famine, right? Because, you know, go back to prophecy, right? Because scripture said, you know, a lot of people are going to basically die by a famine, right? And we, so-called white man, use this whole famine in order to basically bring forth a new world order agenda. Because people, you know, people basically willing to do anything at all, you know, for food, right? Or basically something to drink when it reach that level, right? So they might use the food in order for, you know, people receiving, you know, this MOTB, because that's what it lead to, right? The scripture speak out, you know, the hour of temptation. So we see how Esau, you know, making his moves, you know, putting things into place in order to basically usher in this famine, which are the Heavenly Father the one. I use so-called white man to basically engineer this famine, and this famine going to be, you know, one of the greatest famine, right? We've seen a lot of articles, news coming out about, you know, certain places where food are basically a waste, you know, farmers, you know, crops are spoiled and all these things, because it will lead to this great famine. You know, scripture speak out, right?
Basically, you hear them, even farmers in America, they must say basically, they must get paid over the amount for them crops, just to destroy the crops, man. See? That's what the big companies out here, the biggest. Because actually, that's where we're going. They actually them create this famine, man. Second Ezra 16 and verse 17 says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?
God, who will deliver, you know, people in those days, because now, you know, you have this whole thing that took place from last year. You know, you have a lot of people being stressed out. Out here in Jamaica, a lot of people, you know, are frustrated over the whole thing, because, you know, you have the whole lockdown that take place. A lot of people getting, you know, more frustrated more and more. Right, but you have way more greater things there ahead than this what take place now. This is nothing compared to what they ahead. Right, so people say, woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Who will deliver our people? Because majority of people, they're not seeking to the Heavenly Father. Right, they're seeking to basically, so-called white man, right? And how we can basically set back things, you know, so then can go back to the normal life. But I want to seek to how things can get put back into place so they can go back to the normal life. That's what majority are seek. Trust in oppression, as scripture said, and perverse this year. Right, so you're supposed to read again, brother?
It says, woe is me, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?
And who will deliver our people in those days? We trust in your house, Bashimir Shai. Right?
It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning.
So all this whole preparation we see across the world now for this whole food shortage or famine, right, is really the beginning of what to come, because this famine is a way greater than all the famine, you know, past history. You can read about, you know, famine that take place back in even Egypt. You know what happened? You know, with Joseph. This one are even greater than that. Famine back then, you know, you have famine with basically the two women them. One boy our son, and next one hide our son. This one are even greater than that. So people eat people back then. Right, in famine. And this one are greater. So what I think will happen this time around? Right?
We can come up on more recent famine, like all the Bengal famine.
Bengal famine, yeah.
You have the Chinese famine back in the Chinese. You have
months.
Yeah, because remember in a World War II, even a lot of people go through famine during the time of World War II. Yeah, and all that, man. So it says greater evils than these may see now will happen, man. Yeah, that may see happen before. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. The beginning of famine and great death.
Beginning of famine and great death. Right?
The beginning of wars, and the poor shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when those evils shall come?
So people are doing this, but all them break loose. Right? They're seeking to the so-called white man. So-called white man are going to basically will help you when the time to come. See them when I go turn on and destroy, because they're using them propaganda media in order to deceive you, to lure you in, to destroy you. Because that's what everybody know, you know. Right? So in the time to come, a lot of people are going to run to this man, and this man will destroy a lot of them too. Right?
And over the years, the white man has been consciously setting up a trap, particularly with our food, because when I look at even well, back then most persons used to plant to supply themselves and maybe sell a little to live subsistently, but the white man go ahead and consciously been destroying native crops.
Finish your answer.
So basically you find most of the farmers now, even in where I'm from is in the rural area. You know, most persons used to have seeds that they plant, and persons in mostly, you know, commercial farmers in the cities used to have to go to the farm store. You know what I mean? But now, even in rural areas, you don't have farmers regenerating seeds anymore. So every time they have to be going to the farm store for each crop to be planted. So the white man consciously make persons forget about or try to kill out the native crops. So each time they have GMO seed.
Depending on them, so each time they have to go to them.
Exactly. So if 1 year this man decides to look here, we have to cut off seeds from these people, then all they'll have to break loose. You know what I mean? Or you have a farm. And another angle to that, for persons, even this man are really devil in a brother. A couple of years ago, I watched a couple of videos with all the man them do corn. I have some, because even in Mexico you have maybe hundreds of different corn varieties, and you have persons down there where I plant the native corn and deliberately don't want to plant them GMO, and the man them go in and have persons who go in and plant GMO corn, mix it with the other, with the native crops, and turn around and try to sue them. And then they get called out on that, you know. And even for persons who have the native crop, this man done a master weather manipulation. So we have even, you have all the crops, and this man we even make drought come upon certain areas. You know what I mean? So this man ultimately, Yahweh Hashem prophesy, say you have to have famine and all these calamities, but the white man is the one who is engineering it.
Right? The white man is the most high hand.
Right.
Because I mean, create wicked even for the day of evil, man.
Right.
An example when they do and give in Norman Manley time. Michael Manley, right? When them basically destroy the dairy industry, right? Them shipping milk powder.
And even coconut too.
Coconut powder as well, right?
Deliberately come and spray them.
Yeah.
You have people know what tell us them see when the planes used to come and spray the coconuts, kill them.
This is Isaiah 32 and verse 7 says, the instruments also of the churl are evil. He devised wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak it right.
If you do not destroy the poor, who's the poor? Israelites, so-called niggers, Latinos and Native Americans, the poor, the earth, right? They all go back to the curse, right? Scripture say, them are going to be the head, and we are going to be the tail, right? Them are going to lend to us, and we can't lend to them because we are not lend to them, so we are the poor. So the so-called white man aim is to get rid of us as a nation, right?
So the scripture saying, most are heart desire.
Saying work evil up on him bed as well.
Let's go some points out of the article. Main points. So this a part of the article again say it's Mr. Morales said it is chronic when you can't get any bottled water. That is fundamental.
Yeah.
And if you a scripture in our lamentation to say more water is going to be sold to us for money. See, so just to back up what the act say, they make it a way where you're highly dependent on them. Them create all of these things.
Total control.
Total control. So you have to go back to them as saying that the cursing of Deuteronomy in want of all things. Saying, so they make it a way where you have to go to them. Right? And whosoever don't comply, then usually the family will reach it because it's engineered.
That's right, man.
Yeah, Esau's plan is to you own nothing and be happy, right? You can't even own water, yo. And Jamaica Water Commission something slogan say water is life,
Right. It's this is back in an article. It says retailers and restaurant chains including Subway, Iceland, right, KFC, right, Craig's and McDonald's have also been hit, right, by product deficit as meat packers and other manufacturers have also faced significant workers shortage.
Right? Our people gonna feel it, because that's all our people live on,
KFC line.
Right.
One of the longest line away from Western Union and Monogram line. Embassy line.
Yeah, because they might take the money where they collect from Western Union to buy KFC. I'm a freezer.
We're going to say McDonald's run out of milkshake. Right, and going supply problems. Right, so the burger chain has also left without bottled waters. Drinking bottles across England, 1,250 outlets in England, Scotland and Wales. McDonald's said, we have apologized for any inconvenience and thanks customers for their continued patience. So you can see that, look, the food supply chain, and they speak about truckers basically we get lay off, you know what I mean?
And this is not just, as the man them said, global food supply chain. You know what I mean? So it's not like you have disruption in the chain and affect one country or two. It's on a global scale, because most manufacturing, as you know, coming from China. So whenever there's any disruption there, then there's a ripple effect both here in the Caribbean, in the US, in Europe, all over.
This is Ezekiel 5:16. It says, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine.
So it's how the scripture says, when the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His Son, Yahweh shine, shall send upon them, send upon who? Send upon our people, and also these Eden nation, the evil arrows of famine. Right, at that time period we're living right now. What?
Which shall be for their destruction.
Which shall be for your destruction. What?
and which I will send to destroy you.
So even the Father will use famine to destroy a lot of people. Right? And famine is also a sword, weapon. Right? How Hashemesh ever use. In a time to come to get rid of a lot of people. Right? Because say, even the Father will punish the world for their evil, for the wicked for their iniquity. Right? And this is one of the way. Well, brother?
And I will increase the famine upon you.
Can?
And will break your staff of bread.
Can?
Yes, basically that's what you're saying. That's even much of the article we've been talking about right now.
Can?
Because the Lord are the one who will do this, man.
Can?
And they do what? Break the staff of the bread. See? Hey, as you ask, hopefully we're part of the elect. Hey, say, hey, hold on firm to the Almighty. We're going to get delivered out of this, man. See?
And even going back to last year, right, they have article coming out, article after article, UN saying 2021 going to be a famine of biblical proportion. Now we're seeing the moves in making right across the world. You're seeing the whole shortage of food thing, pop up now in the media. Right?
Even here in Jamaica, remember, like maybe 7-8 years ago, we were out on the streets and telling people about famine. People laugh, You know what I mean? Because it's so far-fetched in their mind to think that famine can even come to this island. You know what I mean? But even now in our local news, there are regular talks of food shortage. They don't necessarily say famine, but we know that that's where it's heading. Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the brother Macolat from our camp usually look on the gas prices, and I think those time it was like 140 or something, and the brother say, yo, look, now go see that go skyrocket 200 and then way there, right? And it's basically at 200 right now, right? And it not that harsh as it,
Yeah, we have another one. This is from Jamaica Observer. It says, consumers warn to brace for rising prices. CEO of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, Larry Watson, has cautioned local consumers to expect higher prices for goods and services soon due to the dramatic rise in shipping costs.
And that's the same people where they tell you say, yo, prosperity are gonna come to Jamaica,
Exactly.
Right? So they are false prophet,
He said the shipping dilemma is likely to continue for the rest of the year, with more increases expected to come in the second half. Speaking on taking stock with Kalila Reynolds, Watson confirmed that JCC, which is Jamaica Chamber of Commerce members, have been getting quotation for containers totaling over 14,000 US. That's a 300% jump when compared to 3,500 it would cost to move a container in 2019 and early 2020.
Yeah, you see that? So, and we know so going back to the Suez Canal when they get the block the other day, when them actually turn the ship across the Suez Canal and say it was an accident. Them naturally did it, to bring forth the hiking of these food prices and had deliveries and things that they bring out, Yeah.
And the thing is, because it not happen right away, people forget it. Right? People just know I go feel the side effect of that ship.
That's a sudden destruction and come up on you because this one and they never even look for it. See?
This is Psalms 37 and verse 19. So they shall not be ashamed in the evil time.
That's not the verse.
Verse up? Yeah, verse up. Alright.
Verse 18.
Alright, this is Psalms 37 verse 18. Say the Lord, know the days of the upright, and the inheritance shall be forever. So they shall not be ashamed in the evil times.
They shall not be ashamed in the evil time. We're not going to be ashamed in the evil time. The elect. Right, because it's all about the elect of Yahweh Hashem Shai. Right, so it's possible we're not going to be ashamed in the evil time, you know. Hopefully. Right, Lord, you know, we continue on this path, we're not going to be ashamed. Right, so it's possible we're supposed to give diligence to make our calling, our election sure, and if we do these things, we shall never basically fail. Go on, brother.
And in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied.
And in the days of famine, so when famine hit this world, you know, right across the world, people say we are going to be satisfied, so we are going to eat you. The how about Shemir Shine, you know, basically find, give us food, right? You have history, past history, right? Oh, the Heavenly Father feeding prophets back then. And people say, whatsoever thing was written aforetime was written for our learning. Right? So we see the Heavenly Father feed the prophet back then, and feeding our people back then. Right?
And we have full faith that as the act, so we have full faith in the scripture. I mean, say, Lord's will, we are the elect that He is going to do that. I mean, so because our hope is not here, that is why we will not pushing for the continuation of the system and trying to take their juice, I mean, and all of that, because our hope is not here. Our hope is in the our Shai. I mean, so at the end, you know, when all of them people here were trusting at the white man and realize, look here, them get deserted. Let's see who are going to feed you. Can
you jump to verse 25? Say, I have been young, verse 25, Psalm 37, verse 25. I have been young and now I'm old, and yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
So that's what King David said, I believe. King David?
Yeah, Psalm of David.
Hey, as a big one, I'm going to jump I'm going to bring out that one real quick. Ecclesiasticus 2 and verse 10. It says, look at the generation of old.
Now look at the generation of old. Look on, you know, past history. Right, and what happened back then. And how the Heavenly Father, you know, deliver our people. If I'm out of even the hands of Pharaoh, bring them to the wilderness and feed them with a manna. Look on all these things the Heavenly Father do. Things that you can't do greater things this time around. But the greater famine will take place. Right? What?
And see, did any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken, or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion.
So Yahweh Shemesha is full of compassion. One
to Israel.
To Israel. Yes. But he like on the side.
And mercy.
And mercy, a merciful power. One.
Long suffering.
And the Lord is slow to hunger and not great in power. One.
And very pitiful.
And very pitiful. One. Key part I want to forget to.
And forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction.
So Yahweh Shemesha will save us in the time of affliction. No matter we are going through that time to come, so if you have faith in the Heavenly Father, which is right. So He will deliver us. So people say, without faith, it is impossible to please Him. He that cometh unto Him must believe that He is a rewarder unto them that are diligent to seek Him.
Right.
Right? Scripture?
It says, furthermore, another local manufacturer recently told Kalila Reynolds Media that his company last week received a quotation for as much as $25,000 US. Watson said that the situation has been causing challenges for all importers, with rates going up significantly for shipping coming particularly from China and Far East.
The scripture says that the days when the keepers of the house are going to tremble. And now we see at the time with the grinding I go low, food shortage are come, a lot of people getting scared, a lot of people been scared of all these things that come up on the earth, and the only thing of we are well steadfast is because guess what? We trust in the Lord Yahweh Shemir Shai, and we trust in His word, because His word say it's going to happen, and now we see these things that happen. We as men of the Lord, even though, when we know the prophet Ezra said, woe is me, because he can see what come. We see what's coming, but yet still we have faith in the Lord, Yahweh Shemir Shai. And that's the whole way at the end of the day. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the strength and stability of thy time.
And we have to pray spiritually. This guy come. My brother?
It says just a minute, please. It says First Thessalonians 5:1. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
And so we know that the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night to our people, to our people basically now watch, because as I mentioned, for their mind is things go back to normal. For them must seek to. You know, what is the solution to get back things into normal, right? What the scripture say? The day of the Lord will catch him as a thief in the night. Least expected. People say in their security, they might get destroyed. Right, my brother?
It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. See? Yes. The sudden destruction will come upon them then. Suddenly. As we can always say, hopefully we are part of the elect. We escape it then. See? If I even choose death, we escape it, we still escape it. Yeah? Because remember the Lord say, precious in the sight of the Lord. It's the stuff of saints, man. So if you always have them things that as men of the Lord will steadfast to man. So as you go for dying in the name of the Lord, see? And hold with integrity to the end. See? Hey, we're going to get delivered and we're going to get a crown of life. See?
Best to die honorably, yo.
Yeah.
And to be here serving this germ, yo.
Alright. Take it.
So one member indicated that the last time they were to bring in a container, they paid 10,500. But when the ship left the ship left their container, the ship left and their container was not put on the ship. When they asked what happened, they were told that there were higher bids and people were paying 13 and 14,000. So they left their container.
Yep.
So we can pretty much see how long them because this is going to go much higher. It's going to go higher and higher and higher until it's virtually impossible to be shipping these goods here.
The society is crashing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yo. So you naturally you're going to have rises in prices until the regular man on the street cannot afford it.
They can't afford it every day.
Exactly.
What's going to happen next?
And who decides to have a plan? How long you have a plan for me? And you can't plant enough to supply Jamaica. Farmers, them out there in Jamaica now have a plan. Can't supply Jamaica enough because they are high demand. Say even chicken or these fast crap with them up. Every day chicken up on the Jamaica tail.
And naturally,
food, chicken and rice.
Naturally, whenever you have any disruption in food, persons, even if you have enough, can supply the town. You have old years because you don't know when this thing will get better. You know what I mean? So naturally, if everybody with goods, once you have any disruption, major disruption, the old years until preserving themselves until situation get better. So just the smaller countries like Jamaica and other Caribbean countries, them particularly are going to hit them hard because we don't have any reserves. Russia, at one point, Russia and China was hoarding grains, thousands and thousands of tons of grains. I don't remember what situation, but they did that. We don't have anything to store here. So
a lot of
it just will affect us like that.
We have a lot of GMOs.
Grain is precious because grain have a long shelf life.
Exactly.
Alright.
Let's bring up the final 3 seconds. It says 2 Thessalonians 6 and verse 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown place appear and sown.
So what getting ready to take place? All your storehouses, your supermarket. I think the other day you have the lockdown out here in Jamaica. 3-day lockdown. You have people that say they sell them empty, can't find a bread on a certain shelf. Supermarket. Right, so it's so easy. Famine hit this piece of rock here, what people love so much.
Right.
Like what the scripture has said. Right, suddenly shall the sown place appear and sown. Go on, brother.
And the full storehouses
go on,
shall suddenly be found empty.
and shall you what? Suddenly found empty. Like back to the scripture we read earlier on, when they shall seek a peace and safety, sudden destruction happen to them. Right?
This thing so fragile.
God.
This thing so where them people love so much and trust and think a lot is so fragile, brother.
Right.
One storm come and if you work shuffle a little bit and reach a supermarket in time, you can't get anything.
You know, thing it up. A lot of the upper class, them get the news first. Because they have people up in the high society, you know. Right. Them hear certain things and them tell them kids are the, you know, them relatives. And then them buy out the supermarket them first. And then we know as a, you know, they come on with the information now reach lower class. Right. Lower class. You know, we black when we got some more.
That's why scripture say. Men that a man that got to put
upon his
neighbor, right? Destroy them homes.
Spoil it for the lack of bread.
Yes, the man that got them yards
to reach to a point where but whether them rich in this country or poor, you have to go through the same thing. Because Esau don't give a damn about us.
Sir,
Police.
make a wrap up. Wrap up.
I would say I'm looking at and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid. See? And at that time, friends fight one against another.
And at that
like
time,
enemies.
Friends shall fight against friends like enemies. You're going to have total chaos. People keep killing each other. Right?
See? Like enemies. Alright. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Exactly. Alright, so with that, we're going to end the video because I know curfew time now. So we have to finish up right now. And so with that, we are saying praises and honor to your and double honor to the apostles and the leaders of the stone. Shalom to all our brothers and out there pushing the truth in our sincerity and in our honesty. Shalom.